Listen to part of a lecture in an architecture class.
Today, we're taking a little detour from the grand styles of public architecture we've been studying to look at residential architecture in the United States. Since this is something we can all identify with, I think it'll help us see the relationship between the function of a structure and its style or form. This has been an ongoing theme in our discussions, and we'll be getting back to it in just a moment. But before we get started, I want you to take a moment to think. Does anyone know what the single most popular style for a house in the United States is today? Bob?
I bet it's the ranch style house.
Well, in this area, probably. But are we typical? Yeah, Sue.
How about the kind of house my grandparents live in? They call it a Cape Cod.
That's the one. Here's a drawing of what we consider of a classic Cape Cod house. These days, you see this style all over the United States, but it first showed up in the U.S. Northeast, in the New England region, around the late 1600s. For those of you who don't know the Northeast coastal region, Cape Cod is a peninsula, a narrow strip of land that juts out into the Atlantic. And so many houses in this particular style were built on Cape Cod that the name of the place became the name of the style. Now, why did the Cape Cod style house become so popular in the Northeast? Well, one reason is that it's a great example of form following function. We've talked about this design principle a lot, about form following function. And what did we say it meant? Someone give me an application of this principle. What does this concept that form should follow function, how would it be applied to housing design?
Well, if it means that the design of a building should be based on the needs of the people who use it, then the architect has to be very practical to think about the people who will actually be living in the house or working in the office building, whatever. So for the architect, it's all about the users, not about showing off how creative you can be.
Good. Of course, for a Cape Cod house, it might be even more accurate to say that form also follows climate. Who knows what the climate's like on Cape Cod?
Cold in the winter.
And whenever I visit my grandparents, it's really wet. It's usually either raining or snowy or foggy and windy too. I guess because it's so exposed to the ocean?
That's right. So take another look at this drawing, and you can imagine how this design might be particularly helpful in that kind of climate. Notice how the house sits fairly low to the ground. This relatively low, compact structure helps the house withstand the strong winds blowing off the ocean. And look at the slope of the roof. The steep angle helps keep off all that rain and snow that accumulates in the winter. Another thing, Cape Cod houses usually face south to take advantage of the sun's warmth through the windows. That's helpful in winter. Now, what can you tell me about the chimney? About its location?
Well, it's in the middle because does that have something to do with heating the houses? I mean, since the heat never has to travel very far.
That'd mean you can heat the house more efficiently, right?
Exactly. Now, see how the house has very little exterior decoration. And that's also typical of early Cape Cod houses. The wind was one reason. Nothing sticking out that might blow away in the harsh weather. But there was probably another reason, not related to the climate. More a reflection of rural New England society back then. You see, Cape Cod houses were not built in the big cities where all the rich people lived back then.
These were
the
modest
modest
dwellings. The
dwellings.
people who
The
built
people
them
who built
simply
them
couldn't
simply
afford
couldn't
lots
afford
of
lots of
expensive
expensive
decorative details.
details.
But it was
But it
more
was
than
more
just a
than
matter of
just a
money.
matter of money.
In these
In these
rural
rural
areas,
areas,
people
the people
depended on each
depended
other
on each
for
other
survival.
for survival.
Neighbors had
Neighbors
to
had
help
to
and
help
support
and
each other
support
in a
each other
difficult
in the
environment.
difficult environment.
So you
So
didn't want
you
to
didn't
appear
want
to
to appear
be
to be
showing
showing
off.
off.
You'd want to
You
avoid
wanted to
anything
avoid
that might
anything that
set
might
you
set
apart
you
from your
apart
neighbors,
from your
the
neighbors,
same
the
people
same
you might
people
need
you
to
might need
help
to
you
help
someday.
you someday.
So all
So
this
all
helped to
this
create
helped
an
to create
attitude
an
of
attitude of
conformity in the community. And you can see
And you
why
can
a
see why a
modest,
modest,
a very
a very
plain
plain
style
style
would have become so widely imitated throughout rural New England.
It is
It
plain,
is
but
plain,
you know,
but
it's
you know,
nice
it's
looking.
nice looking.
Good point.
Good point.
And in
And
fact,
in fact,
it's precisely that aesthetic appeal,
aesthetic appeal,
the purity, the nearly perfect proportions of the house. That's another reason for the Cape Cod's enduring popularity. Even in places where the climate's so mild that its functional design doesn't matter.